I want to begin this Memorial Day by honoring the fallen, and as we watch the Salcedo Show tribute to our nation's heroes, I think we would all do well to ask ourselves if we are worthy of the sacrifice of those heroes, those who honor and dishonor America's fallen. That's my focus in today's preamble. First, our tribute.
I stand before you at this noble fortress of American liberty to pay tribute to the immortal souls who fought and died to keep us free. We come together to salute the flag. They gave their lives to so boldly and brilliantly defend. And we pledge in their cherished memories that this majestic flag will proudly fly forever.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier.
On Thursday before Memorial Day, this year and every year for more than 40 years now, the entire regiment of 1,200 soldiers of the 3rd U.S. Infantry has honored America's fallen heroes by placing American flags before every single one of the more than 260,000 gravestones here at Arlington. Then remaining on patrol 24 hours a day, all weekend long, to make sure each flag remains standing. All across our country, in small towns and large cities, veterans groups represented here today perform the same sacred ritual.
And try to tell you how proud I am of the sacrifice and service of the men and women who wear our uniform. They're an awesome bunch of people, and the United States is blessed to have such citizens.
Seven-year-old Christian Jacobs. I met Christian exactly 1 year ago today. Christian walked over to me with great confidence, shook my hand, looked me straight in the eye, and asked if I would like to meet his dad. And he led me to his dad's grave, and we paid our respects together. It was a moment I will always remember.
And now, one of the examples of the kind of people who dishonor those who bled and died for the Constitution and the protections it provides us. Over the weekend, we were treated to insights of the inner workings of the sick and twisted Democrat mind. A longtime aide to Joe Biden admitted that White House staff felt justified doing, quote, undemocratic things during his term in office because they believed President Donald Trump posed an existential threat to American democracy. Now think about that for a minute. This stunning admission raises several questions. Number one, how would the leftists in the Congress and the press react if President Trump and the America First coalition did the very same thing, broke our laws and our Constitution because they had determined that leftists in the America Last coalition posed a threat to this republic? Would they say doing lawless and undemocratic things would be okay then? Number two, America is not a democracy. We are a constitutional representative republic, and that means no matter who is in power, our rights enumerated in the Bill of Rights cannot be voted away by an uninformed rabid or irresponsible majority. But Democrats continue to push the lie that we are a democracy. And that leads us to point number 3. This treasonous betrayal by the Biden regime to do undemocratic things to save the fictional democracy. It's in keeping with how Democrats said they would save democracy in the 4 years of Joe Biden as this nation's figurehead. They would break the law to commit lawfare, illegally weaponizing government to take out their political opponents. They would kick their political opponents off the ballot so they could save democracy, they told us. And the leftists who run the Democrat Party would even force a candidate, Kamala Harris, onto their own kind. A candidate none of them voted for, to save democracy. Even if the word democracy properly and completely defined the United States, I don't think that word means what Democrats think it means. At least they've shown no indications in the last 2 decades that they do. The Democrats say they need to break the law, break the Constitution, and break the public trust to save us. Save us from President Trump and the America First coalition. Now, how many of you believe the Democrats when they say they have to harm you to save you? I, for one, don't believe them, nor do I trust them, nor do I want to live under their particular brand of perverted tyranny. And with all the harm these committed leftists have done to us since the election of Barack Obama and the once trusted GOP leadership that let them do it, I can only be sure of this. Our fallen didn't fight to empower Democrat tyranny. They didn't fight and die for an oppressive and unbound federal establishment. They didn't give up their lives so our government could enslave us to its will. Our fallen paid the ultimate sacrifice so that this last best hope of mankind would not perish from the face of the earth. They left behind grieving family, wives, and children so that the Constitution could remain in force along with all of its protections for we, the people. Anyone who tries to justify doing undemocratic things to the nation because they don't like political opposition, they are searching in vain for a legitimate excuse to justify their traitorous acts. Well, those people are not worthy of the sacrifice so many have made so that the American people could remain free. Folks, I thank God for my wonderful wife, my kids, my country, the greatest nation ever. And Americans like you who believe in the truth, the Chris Salcedo Show will never stop fighting for you.
The Chris Salcedo Show, for the news you need to know.